Beautiful. Okay. So how many years have you been doing photography, Kindra?
I have been doing photography since I was 6, 7. Right after my father passed away, he had a lot of photographs lying around, and it was just kind of a touchy thing to see all those videos and photographs of him after seeing all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much when it all started, and it took off from there.
So yeah.
Loving it. You got a little sassiness going on there.
So how important is it for you to connect to your subject that you're photographing?
It is very important to connect to the subject because photographers are, I don't know about other photographers, but me personally, I photograph what I love and what I want to know more about, and just it's a perfect way to get to know the subject, to photograph them and have, just get in there and all that good stuff.
So what does photography mean to you?
Photography to me is a perfect way to express myself, and there's another side to photography where you can worry about the technical aspects of it all and kind of worry about buying the perfect technology, perfect cameras, but I've learned it's not always about that. It's about how much you love it, and it's all about creating art and kind of helping people view the real world in an artistic way, in a unique way. So
I couldn't have said that better myself. What lasting impression do you hope people take away after they look at your photos?
The last impression I hope they take with them is that I want them to feel that they know that I'm not afraid to show what I feel and what I see in the world around me. And that I do have a passion for photography and even the fine arts photography world. And that I could make it in there. I could make it in the arts field with determination and hard work. And as an artist, I could bring love, passion, pleasure, pain, sadness, beauty. I could bring it to life because that's what my world's all about. And I hope to connect that with people through my photographs. So
that is exactly why I wanted to have my photos taken by you.
We mesh well. You're my perfect
We mesh
client.
So where can we find you if we want to contact you?
You can find me on Facebook. There's 2 places, Kindra Syring Photography or just Kindra Syring.
And for that spelling, just look right below. Hi, my name is Chelsee Jean. I am here with Alex Stephenson, my good friend, and also a man that is making a board game. I'd like to know if any of you could do that. I sure can. And he's going to teach us a little bit about it so we can learn about the game. First, what is the game? The premise?
It's an RPG cooperative board game, so it's kind of like Magic the Gathering meets Dungeons and Dragons, and whereas Magic the Gathering is very competitive, one-on-one, people going head-to-head sort of thing, this is you get to play with your buddies, and you're going towards the same goal, which is defeating the board game. So that's kind of why it's like Dungeons and Dragons, but Dungeons and Dragons always needed a dungeon master who's kind of the person that controls all the bad guys and stuff that you're fighting. So this game has the advantage where you don't need one of those, so you literally are playing together the whole time and getting treasure together and getting new warriors to fight on your team and stuff like that. So, do you want to play, Chelsee?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think I'll win.
See if you can get it? Oh, I think you'll get it just fine. But you picked it up.
Yeah.
You weren't too confused.
I know.
You don't even play a lot of these games, and you
Not
picked
at
it
all.
up. So
I don't play at all.
I'm impressed. That's good.
But I liked it, actually. It's quite fun.
Thank you.
And up to how many players?
1 to 4 players.
1 to 4 players.
Yep.
So you could play by yourself.
You could play by yourself.
Yeah.
Which I do sometimes.
We got a cut right there.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
What made you decide to make a board game, and what was the process?
It was a long process. So I've been working on it probably 6 months, and sort of my inspiration for it was I've been a long time Magic the Gathering player, and Magic the Gathering is a card game that was started back in the early 90s, and there's still new cards made for it to this day, so it's got this like 20-year legacy of being a deck building game. And that's sort of what made Magic popular in the first place, was that you could basically build your own deck. You can be as creative as you want, and there's this huge card pool to choose from, and you can pick, and that's why players latched onto it so much. Is like, look, I made this deck idea. I'm special. I made this idea. So that was why Magic was so popular with such a broad audience, because there wasn't a game that had really given you that luxury or that option before. So that's the part of Magic that I love, and that was kind of what I brought into this game, because there is sort of a deck building aspect to this when you're acquiring new heroes that help you in fighting your monsters. So the reason that I wanted to do it was I've played Magic so long, and it's such a competitive game that it starts to, I don't know, it got me frustrated sometimes when you'd play like all night and you'd be playing against people, and sometimes because there is a luck aspect to the game, you can go on losing streaks. So going on those losing streaks would always really, piss me off sometimes. So this game, like, I'm hopefully going to mitigate that whole feeling burned aspect of Magic, because you're just playing with your friends. You're playing together, so when one of you lose, both of you lose.
Yes.
So you're
Team
just,
aspect. It's
not like one of you's winning and one of you's losing. You're always either winning or losing. So in that respect, it was like Dungeons and Dragons, which is another big inspiration for this game. So basically, I wanted to bring the best elements of Magic the Gathering, best elements of like D&D and the old, Super Nintendo RPGs like Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger and stuff like that, and bring it into a board game.
So what is the next process for you to get this board game into the hands and the shelves of the consumer?
It's a good question. Well, I'm currently in the process of working with a couple artists, and they're going to help me sort of get all the 130 or so pictures that are going to be necessary to finish this game. So that's really why this game is still about 6 months at least from having a prototype ready, is I need all the art, and I'm working with a graphic designer on the actual card templates, because as you saw, it's kind of in an ugly state right now. It's just pieces of paper in, card sleeves pretty much.
So the testing stage.
Yes. So it's not pretty to look at right now, and that is actually a shortcoming of getting people to play test it, because when you're playing a game that's high fantasy, you want to see pretty pictures of like goblins and heroes and warriors and stuff like that. So that's been kind of a hurdle, but thankfully I have a lot of friends who've been really helpful in helping me play test this, and it's really been sculpted along the way with their help. The original conception piece when I first made this is so vastly different than where it's come now. that I really wouldn't have been able to get this game to the point it's at if it wasn't for playtesters. So to get it into the consumer's hands, it's still going to be months just for the art reason, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I would imagine it's still going to be a year before I have 100 copies of it ready to sell and stuff like that. But
that is.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
goal.
yes, definitely, and we're working on it. We've got a Google Doc file because they live in different cities, so we're trying to collaborate as often as possible. And they're showing me pictures of stuff, and I'm criticizing it, looking at it, complimenting it sometimes when it's good, and we're just working out the kinks right now, trying to get a pretty template that's easy to learn and intuitive, and getting pretty art to look at. So while you're playing, you're not looking at boring pieces of paper,
Cut out pieces of it.
Yeah.
But this is exciting to see the process. I've never actually.
It's the most exciting project I've ever worked on because it takes something I love in Magic and it's making it go a direction I think a player base of like-minded people like me would want to see it go, where you can call your buddies up and have them come over and play like an RPG together.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you for letting us come here and learn about the project Nexus, right? It's not what the board game's going to be called.
But right,
to be determined.
The project, we're still working on a good
Yeah.
name for the board game. We've got some ideas we're tossing around, but nothing solid yet. The project's name is Nexus. That's kind of just how we're referring to it instead of that board game.
And then if you're at all already in love with Magic or want to be in love with Magic,
I really think you would enjoy this game.
yes,
I do.
and then to go to the podcast and learn more.
Yes, go to seemsgoodmagic.com, and if you're a Magic player and you're interested in purchasing cards, you can click on eBay store, which is a link at seemsgoodmagic.com, and you'll see everything I've got available on eBay.
And I vouch for this man because he's my good friend for many years. So
Well, thank
please
you.
do it.
Appreciate
You're welcome. The end.